What's up, heathens? How y'all doing? Today on the live stream, of course, we've got comments. Today I've learned, and the main thing here, and that is the Muslim video where apparently evolution, Darwinism, they're all just a religion, as well as it being false because of personal incredulity reasons. But we'll get into that here in a little bit. First up, though, we've got comments as well as Today I Learned. Hey there, Crypto. What up, Krismer? Kreismer? Well, what I don't know how you pronounce that. Tell me which one I got wrong. Graceful Slumber, how are you doing? Kevin's Death by Pulsar, how are you doing? Nadine, how are you doing? Reese, Bill. It's nice to see so many people. What up there, Jen with one N? I like how that rhymes a little bit. KC's in the house, the best moderator on the planet. Okay, I can start now that she's here. Laurel with Wings, Bullionator, how you doing there, Bullionator? Adam, Karina, Scope. Hey there, Scope. Huh? Lee is here. All right. So let's get on into it, shall we? With Today I Learned. It was meant to be shrill. All right, today I learned that 18th century stereotype of the lazy southerner was caused by widespread hookworm infections, which caused poor southerners to be lethargic, malnourished, stunted, and mentally retarded. So it's not our fault. It's the hookworm. It's the hookworm's fault. Blame the fucking hookworm. I felt like this was kind of interesting, not only because I myself am a southerner, but also because of, finding these things that are causes and not just going with surface level shit. Like, just assuming somebody's stupid when in reality they grew up eating paint chips because their parents didn't care about them. Like, knowing that kind of background context to something can really make you understand certain situations or make you understand certain things. So I highly suggest really, learning about the full context of something and considering options that may be outside of the box and not necessarily, just surface level shit. That's the focus of Today I Learned. It's the only one we got today, so I hope you learned something, because that's the point of Today I Learned. They are getting worse, and that's on purpose. So next we're going to comments of the day. Prepare to facepalm yourself in the next week. Earbud warning, everybody. Earbud warning. Just to let you know, you may facepalm yourself into next week, but also earbud warning. Wow! You're a bad spirit person! May God have mercy! Repent! I'm a bad spirit person? Like, that would be cool to be a spirit person. I mean, I would have to know what the fuck a spirit person is in order for me to be a bad one, I would think. So, I don't know. Let me know in the comments right now what you think a spirit person is. If I can float through walls, I definitely want to activate that super ability. Maybe you gotta get to level, like, 30 spirit person in order to float through walls. That's gotta be something on the skill tree. All right, so you've got to express this particular comment in the correct way, okay? Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. See, if you put it in the right voice, I mean, it makes sense when you think about it. Enunciation is key. Thank you, honey. You know what? Right now, my live viewer little thing down there says nobody. I know that's fucking bullshit. Oh, I know.
Like you're.
I'm. I know. I'm a bad spirit person, and so I'm a bad ghost. What? Oh. I need more throat gurgle on the fuck part. Okay. Fuck. Remember, super chats will get me to do weird shit like that. Jasper Jeep said, "Today I learned." Cha-ching! Money, money. What is it? Dollar, dollar bill, y'all. is what it does. All right, again, got to put it in the right context here. You fat fuck, it's flat. You're brainwashed. That's why you can't see it. You need to wake up. Oh, yeah, suck my balls. No, like other than the commas, which I don't even know why the fuck they're there, because they kind of act like periods. But I also love the comments that have like them spelling you with one letter, but then down the road they spell the complete fucking word you. And also when you spell really long words, but you know, truncate your to just two letters, like you're brainwashed. What the fuck is that about? You can spell brainwash completely, but you gotta save the room on the your. Lesson learned on that one, don't do that shit. So this is on my "How did Jesus become a divine in Christianity?" It's a Christy Winners response. And so I said, so this person said, hold up, hold up, hold the fuck up. Did Miss Fisty Splinters make a video where she was not dissing on Bearing and telling us how she's a lying C-star int? Is she okay? She was replaced by pod people? Are we sure this is a cheap this is Reap Christie and not Super Cyborg created by reptilian overlords? No, it was a real Christie. See, her whole fascination with Mythicist Milwaukee and MythCon was born out of her hatred for mythicists. Or, I won't say hate, that's a little bit strong of a word. She doesn't hate mythicists, but she definitely fights against the position of mythicists, mainly that, you know, Christ was never a real person on earth, that he was a literary concoction. And so she, along with Bart Ehrman, you know, they have those opinions that are against mythicists, but that's why she started kind of focusing on that. But I find it funny that somebody was like, hold up, you mean there's a time when she wasn't bitching about nonsensical things? Holy shit. All right, we got about 5 more minutes of dumbass comments, so if you don't have your earbuds out and other shit like that, not prepared for dumb shit, except for this one. This one's not dumb. I'm pretty sure the ghost on the left said death in skulls, not death in schools. I can see how that might have been the situation. I mean, my hearing's not all that great. Plus, I mean, those women were talking really fast. Like they legit, I think they have to practice their scripts going like 150 miles an hour. Like on your video?
Yeah.
Oh, I do. I think I do. Okay. Let's see. This one says Trump would be Wolverine if Wolverine had no powers and spoke like a vegetable. Butterscotch, I have to agree. He would be fucking exactly like a vegetable Wolverine. Thanks, Kevin's Death by Pulsar. You found my channel a week ago and you love it. I love you being here there, Kevin. Or, yeah, Kevin. Sorry. I was like, whoa, I fucked that one up. Yeah, Casey loves the $1.99. in America can Forrest Gump idiot can a Forrest Gump idiot can be rich and become president? Well, I mean, Forrest Gump in the movie, he was rich, although he didn't become president. He did meet the president a couple times. Um, I mean, as far like I don't know, I feel like comparing Donald Trump to Forrest Gump really kind of belittles the name of Forrest Gump. Like I could see Forrest Gump being like, well, I don't want to be compared to that motherfucker. Take my name out that fucking sentence, please. Let's see. No, honey. All right, back to stupid fucking comments. 5 seconds in and I'm done. Find smarter people and stop making these horrible videos. I want to hear an intelligent debate about this. Never gonna subscribe to your videos. They're pure garbage. I wouldn't want somebody to subscribe to me if they don't know how to use the correct there or spell out your. Michelle, Casey should pop on and say hi. I think on camera. She's not camera ready there, Michelle. Sorry. I don't know. Last week, Michelle got me to do my twerking on camera for, what was it, like $2, $10 or something? I don't know. I can't remember. And that happened. Well, my light, honey. It... 1 second. Sorry, 1 second. Maybe if I wasn't so flamboyant. Thank you, honey. But can you do this? Can you do this? For only $3.99, you can have a very expensive chair. All right. All right, so this guy, Anthony G, I don't know if he subscribed to me, but I appreciate it if he is. I'm a Christian and I have never pushed my faith on anyone. I rarely talk about my faith because, ironically, I get demonized. Yeah, that's really odd considering that I don't ever experience that, really. Oh, apparently Kevin meant to send more, so he sent $4.99. Thank you, Kevin. We appreciate your contribution. My church's attendance has dropped by over a third over the last 5 or 6 years. I don't know how it is in other areas, but in mine, people have mostly dropped their faith. I will say that faith has helped me in very tough times. You can call me delusional or idiotic, but I know my faith has literally saved my life. I would never judge someone for not being a Christian as long as they are nice and good to me and the people that I love. I found spiritual answers that science came up short on. Believe me, I've tried to get fulfillment out of science and it's not there for me. I love science and I'm thankful for it. There has to be more to life. All this cannot be a random explosion. I wanted to bring up this mainly because it's not just a random explosion. I think that we can give ourselves meaning in life. I feel like, you know, I feel like you don't have to believe in a higher power in order for this life to mean something. And I get it that science kind of came up short on some particular things that you had problems with. But just because we can't explain it yet does not mean that God is the answer. That's just kind of a God of the Caps argument. But I do appreciate Anthony G going out on a limb and talking about his beliefs here, because I'm not here to bash Christians themselves, but I will bash bad ideas when they present themselves. So, oh yeah. Casey had a really nice chat with this guy, which is fine. I love those kind of talks when people can be civil and not just screech at each other. And I would like to say thank you to Kreismer, who gave $1.23. Keep it up with those weird donations, guys. I like them. Super Vaporeon sent $3.99. Where's my chair, bruh? Oh wait, planes are fake. But can you do this? Sorry, my son had to come and make sure he could play a certain game. All right. See, I think we got this one and one more. Okay, so this person says, I'm a flat earther myself, and I would like you to take the video down. Stay flat, people. I don't know if Philip is. I really don't know if Philip is serious in this comment. If you are, Philip, that makes me want to put up even more videos that offend you. I mean, it really, like, whenever somebody's like, hey, take down this video right now, it makes me want to make those videos even harder. Oh, okay. Chrismer. Love your stuff. It's like I had to pay him $2.41 to fucking say my name correctly. Chrismer. Thank you, Chrismer. I really appreciate your I really appreciate you being here. All right. Let's see. We'll do one more comment and then we will get to the video, which my light trying to commit suicide over there threw me off. The most appropriate of comments on a Joshua Feuerstein video. You're kind of fat too. Yes, Neil, I know that I am also fat just like Josh Feuerstein. Obviously, I get mistaken for him all the fucking time. Really, people are like, aren't you that Joshua Feuerstein fuck? Why are you talking about God not existing? While I am fat, I mean, the guy I think was talking about using cake to prove that the Big Bang didn't happen. I don't know. It was maybe a lazy joke, but then again, this was like 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, lazy. Yeah, that is kind of lazy. Oh, also your. And somebody said, but you don't have a 5.7 millimeter. True, I don't. Josh has got me beat there. But I also have a more stable job than he does. All right, so we're getting on into the actual video for tonight. I appreciate everybody that participated in the comments section. Just to let you know, super chats, I will say whatever you want me to or answer your question or whatnot, even if it's in the middle of this portion. So, oh yeah, lawyers are telling me that I can't say just whatever you put in there. I may have to censor myself, but I will address your comment. How's that? I will address it. All right, so these two bros are hanging out, believing in Allah and everything like that. Now they're gonna tell us how it's fucking stupid.
Welcome to the Darwinian Delusions channel. We're going to do something different today. What I want to do is speak about Darwinian evolution as a religion. And
okay, we'll stop you right there while your friend's drinking some water, maybe. I don't know. But so evolution or Darwinism, I mean, they seem to equivocate the two. They use them interchangeably. So we're just going to say evolution for clarity's sake tonight. Evolution, of course, is not a religion. You've got people like Ken Ham that say that as well. And now, obviously, the Muslims are doing it too, saying that evolution's a religion. And this is, of course, to push, evolution or science into the religion realm, being that, it's exactly the same as a religion, which is totally false. I mean, religion has strict moral guidelines. They have strict, dogma that you have to adhere to. And it's very rigid and does not change easily. That being said, it does change over time, but not easily, whereas science has no moral precepts, has no, no binding like rules or dogma or anything like that. It's very easily changed. Science is completely the antithesis of of religion. Both of them seek to do the same thing by providing, truth about our reality. But the problem is that religion has to forego science in actual reality in order to push their dogma. So that's the main difference here.
the sort of experiences of someone who used to believe in Darwinian evolution. And on this show today, I have with me Jerry. Assalamu alaikum, bro.
Assalamu alaikum.
How you doing, bro?
Yeah,
Piss be upon him, good sir.
alhamdulillah, I'm good. Just arrived here, brother Sabur, he caught me nicely, and we've set up a little impromptu video.
He didn't come with any intention. I just thought, okay, you know what? Let me just get this on video. So, Jerry, alhamdulillah, he's one of the brothers who goes out with us to convey the message of Islam. He used to be you were an atheist for
15 years.
15 years.
Solid
Wow.
atheist. Pretty, I'd say about 90% on a scale of percentages
So like
in strength of my
you
atheism.
believe in materialism. You believe that the universe, there's no God. Darwinian evolution is true.
I was absolutely stern on the fact that there was no God, but I was in flux with regards to evolution being true. I mean, any
Okay, so I want to address this. He claims to have been an atheist for 15 years, and then he saw Allah, and and then he started believing in the Prophet Muhammad and all of that kind of shit. Which I have no problem with. I don't have any reason to doubt that he was an atheist for 15 years, but I'm kind of curious, what the fuck was going on prior to that? You're obviously not like 17 years old here. You look about 30, 33 maybe? I don't know, maybe older than that. So I'm kind of wondering what your religious history looked like before that, because I mean, if you were a Muslim before that or any other kind of religion, and then you were an atheist and then you went back into religion, I can understand that. But what in the fuck was happening up until that point? Chrismer says, if Ahmed has 3 apples and Muhammad has 6 apples, what is the effective blast radius? Oh, and maybe we shouldn't kill all the Jews. I think the last part's very good. I don't know what the effective blast radius of an apple is, but maybe we could build one on Fallout 4 and see. Anyways, but yeah, so no reason to doubt this guy being, an atheist and then turning Muslim. There's no reason to doubt that, but I don't know. I'm always very shaky when it comes to people that are like, yeah, I used to be an atheist, but then I wised up and believed in religion. And it's like, oh, that's kind of working the fuck backwards, isn't it? You're going the wrong damn direction on the highway there, buddy.
time I actually thought about evolution, just using my own common sense, I couldn't believe in it.
Really?
But my nafs was pulling me towards the other direction, because I was also surrounded by other atheists, and
There's that slight uncertainty there.
but they're always
Okay, so basically he was surrounded by other atheists that compelled him to believe in evolution, or I guess believe in a God not existing. I mean, to my knowledge, okay, look, if you have a friend that's going through some kind of like existential crisis or whatnot and flips over to religion, the correct way to respond to that is not to like demonize them or anything like that. Also, you want to foster that curiosity, because if we're going to be a movement of free thought and a free exchange of ideas, I think that we got to foster that kind of questioning regardless of how they come out. And so I don't think that anybody should be pushing another person to believe in evolution, but at the same time, explaining why evolution is correct, or why the theory of evolution correctly, you know, or why evolution correctly explains what we see in nature. I don't think that explaining it that way is exactly pushing somebody to believe in it or keeping somebody believing in it. Michelle Anderson, 3.14 donation because I want pie right now. All right.
Was, yeah, there always was. But like any time I dug deeper into it, I started to doubt it, you know, because it just doesn't make sense from a common sense point of view.
Evolution makes sense from a common sense point of view. Don't let this guy tell you otherwise. I mean, you can explain it in common sense ways, and it makes sense when you actually consider the correct, you know, version of it, not any kind of straw man version that they may present here.
Humans, or sorry, that apes can transition into humans, you know.
And you know, it all is a blind chemical, physical process, just running on its own, and it just leads to everything.
Well, the reason most people push evolution is they say that creatures adapt to their circumstance, but apes are already perfectly adapted to their natural environment. Whereas if you put us in their environment, we're going to fail and die very quickly.
Okay, so I disagree with this point. He's saying that, you know, if we get put into an ape's environment, we're going to die very quickly. I seriously disagree with that. Because, I mean, like, you've got Jane Goodall that lived with gorillas for a long time. Now, I mean, she didn't live out there with, like, you know, nothing and just lived like the gorillas did for whatever amount of time. She just spent a lot of time around them. But, I mean, I think that we could potentially survive out there, like, in a gorilla's environment or in other apes' environment. We would survive a different way, but I mean, we would still survive because we are, you know, genetically linked to them. You know, we can easily survive in similar environments. Now, maybe not this guy can't, but I think that, you know, if like all society were to just break down and whatnot, we were to go back out to living in the woods or something like that, I think that we would eventually make it work. But also, that is kind of how evolution works. The species adapts to its environment, and it either moves along or, you know, it changes so that it can survive better in that environment. Not consciously, but it just happens that way over time naturally. And just because it happens naturally doesn't mean that it's just all random and just, oh, the fish grew a leg and then a tongue and then he sprouted a second dick.
And the environment we live in right now is not something we adapted to. It's quite the opposite. It's something we adapted to suit us. So the premise of evolving to suit our needs, it just falls down immediately.
Okay, so we have adapted our own environment to meet our needs. We developed, you know, larger brains, and we have a higher brain function in which to manipulate, you know, things around us, which actually other apes have been known to do. They've been known to use tools and all of that in order to survive. So, I mean, he wants to claim that, you know, like, well, apes are well adapted to their environment, and that would make sense, but we adapted the environment to us, but apes do it too. Apes, like, break off branches and use branches to catch, like, those big fucking ants so that they can have, like, an ant ice cream pop or something. So, I mean, they're different, and one's more extreme than the other, but they're in the same category. So, for him to say that, it doesn't really make sense as to, you know, set us, like, different from the apes. We just manipulated our environment differently because we are different species.
Changing the environment all the time.
Exactly. And, like, why do we not still have a bunch of transitionary phases in between apes and us?
Well, you also, another way of thinking about it is, you know, the whole thing that.
Wait, hold on a second. Did he say the transition thing?
Phases in between apes and us.
Well, you.
Okay, so he's talking about phases between apes and us, and we have those. We have several ones. Let's see. This is going to be very very ad hoc and on the spot kind of thing here that I'm doing. Normally I would have this prepared, but I kind of got preoccupied before the stream. No regrets. No regrets. Played some Call of Duty World War II with my son, so definitely no regrets. So of course these are artist renditions or whatnot of, you know, the different apes, the different hominids that existed. Obviously, I mean, we have bones to support, you know, these different animals existing and these other cousins of ours existing. So to say that there aren't any is just totally disingenuous and false, and it shows that you don't know what you're talking about. It shows that you don't exactly know the actual evidence, you know, for humans being connected to other apes. Now, if you want to get a lot more technical, we know that we evolved from a common ancestor with other apes because of chromosome 2. Chromosome 2 is a chromosome where in apes, 2 and 3 fuse together to make 1. And we can tell because we can look at the DNA and we see certain markers in the DNA, and we can tell that it was 2 chromosomes fused together by what we find in there. So we know that we humans, Homo sapiens, were at one time, you know, part of this common ancestor with other apes. Oh, sorry. Yes, I misspoke. They don't have bones. They have fossils. They have fossils of the bones, which is it's different than bones. So sorry about that little bit of a mix-up. Please forgive me. And thank you. Thank you. What was that, Reese? Yep. Yep. All right. Thank you, Reese, for pointing that out. Bill Sowell, because you rock. Thank you, Bill. First non-$4.99 one that we had. Yeah, I do like the name of this particular photo when I pulled it off Google Images. It's called One Homo. I don't know, that seems apt. Anyways, let's do this.
Also, another way of thinking about it is, you know, the whole thing that we can go to space, we can do quantum mechanics, we can sit here, we can film, we can do these things, yet, you know, our cousins are still throwing bananas at each other in the jungle.
Rocks.
Hold on. Don't you try to steal this away from those cousins of ours. They throw shit at each other, okay? That's what they don't throw bananas. They eat bananas. Everybody knows that. And bananas are delicious, but they throw shit at each other, okay? Let's get that right. All right? But yeah, so apes, they obviously can't do complex things because they don't have larger brains and they don't have, you know, this higher functioning brain. Now, obviously, if they were to evolve in that certain direction, then they could do all of these things. They would be, you know, a different hominid, or maybe not, sorry, not a hominid. Maybe a hominid. I really shouldn't speak on this if I don't know it. Lesson to you guys. But they would be just another version of you know, a bipedal animal that would look similar to us. But, you know, just because they didn't evolve that way doesn't mean that, like, you know, we're so very different from them. I mean, we are different, but we're not, kind of, you know?
So there's a difference. Now, why I wanted to get your sort of opinion on this is, if you remember a few weeks ago, I was getting you to check this material on Darwinian evolution, and you started saying some interesting things. Now, do you think most of the atheists out there, they actually understand it and they believe in it, or do you think it's just like a sort of social thing?
All All right, let me answer before this guy answers. It is not a social thing; it's a factual thing. It's factual that evolution happens. All of that is factual. Now, some of the minor details may change in the future with with more knowledge, but evolution is a factual thing. We've been able to actually see it happen, like in small instances, like bacteria. Bacteria can evolve new systems to consume different things. We've been able to do that and have them do some amazing things. But there's also a high school experiment you can get and do, and you can see the bacteria change between different samples because they ran, this experiment with these bacteria over multiple hundreds of thousands of generations, and you can see the changes at different places. So
I think it's very much a social thing driven by the nafs, going by my own experience with atheists from when I was an atheist and also after I became Muslim, alhamdulillah, because if you cling to something like this, it gives you like a backing or a foundation for throwing away all moral responsibility.
Oh, that's an interesting point. So it's like,
if you accept the hereafter and you accept that you have a creator, then automatically responsibilities come with that to some extent. So that's why I believe my nafs was pulling me towards the evolutionary materialistic side of things, although like I say, when I actually stopped by myself and thought about it
as an atheist,
it didn't make sense.
I like how he's got to emphasize there, as an atheist, you thought about it and was like, this shit doesn't make sense. Like, all atheists mean is that you don't believe in a god. Like, that's really all that it means. I don't know why evolution or anything like that has to really come into it, but I mean, he says that he sat there and he thought about it and it just didn't make sense. Well, what it seems like to me is that you thought about it, it didn't make sense, and instead of investigating further, you just kind of stopped right there and regarded it as bollocks or whatever. And that's a really bad way to live. I mean, that's why I do Today I Learned, because I feel like it's important for us to always be learning something. If we don't understand something, we need to, learn, either why it doesn't make sense, or we need to learn why it does make sense. And being informed like that can only advance and progress our society and our species in general. Jasper Jeep says, but can DNA do this? See, now I'm going to have to spend the $399 to get that goddamn chair so I can do it on stream. I'm kidding, honey. I make my own money, yes I do.
Okay, that's very interesting, because sometimes when I go out and I speak to people, and I'm sure you have the same experience, and you say to people, where did we come from, they just give you a label, read this book, or Dawkins said this or whatever, but they don't have a clue.
Okay, so like, people can explain it to you, but generally it would be easier for you to read information from somebody that really knows what they're talking about. That's why they say, like, go and read this Dawkins book or whatnot. And it's not that, because he's Dawkins, he's right or anything like that, but good science communicators can really explain things in ways that you will understand. Me, myself, I am not a very good science communicator, although I am trying to get better, and I think that I'm doing a decent job, although tonight's not a really good example of that. But I think that, I think that, oh, fuck, I got thrown off here. Let's see, CMI Video says, hey man, I love watching your videos. Keep up the good work. Thank you, CMI Videos, and Matthew Finolis. Thank you for the $2. So, science communicators. Yes. So, pointing you in the direction of somebody that's a science communicator only ensures that you'll understand what's being said, and you don't have to rely on the person that is trying to explain it and their inability to explain it correctly.
No. They literally don't have a clue. Now, the other thing which I wanted to speak about was that Richard Dawkins, in his book The Blind Watchmaker, he says Darwin allowed us to be intellectually satisfied atheists, right? So do you think, even at an academic level, do you think the scientists who are atheists, they have this bias and therefore they're more likely to try and fit the data into the theory rather than the other way around?
Oh man, coming from this guy, it is very, very odd. Trying to push this projection, of religious people's own shortcomings onto scientists as a way to blame scientists for using their bias to inform their opinions. And it's really funny because they're biased towards Allah and a pedophile prophet. But, apparently that doesn't matter in this situation because, scientists do it too. And that's just not true. See, that's that's one of the good things about science, is that you try to remove bias from the situation. If bias is informing your results, then you're not going to produce good science or good scientific results. So there are ways that is worked into the scientific method, and the community in general is there to call bullshit when bullshit needs to be called. And, here lately with the sensationalized headlines and all this other shit, it's very easy for these people to grasp at, certain things and misrepresent the information when maybe the scientists didn't mean to, but also you find scientists that, use their bias to inform their results, like that fuck that started the whole vaccine causes autism thing. That paper has been debunked so many times, but bad information travels faster than good information, and bad information is also harder to kill. But the scientific community did call bullshit on that particular thing. So you can't sit there and be like, well, scientists use their bias as well. They don't, and you're only projecting your own shortcomings onto the scientific community.
From an Islamic point of view, I would say most definitely, yeah.
Well, of course, from an Islamic point of view, you're going to say most definitely. That's your bias informing your results. Thank you for that direct example for the exact shit that he was just saying.
I mean, from their point of view, the scientists, the particular scientists that you're speaking about, I mean, why did they even pursue science? If everything is materialistic and it's all about the how, then there is no why for anything. There's no reason for us to even listen to their conclusions, because what they're doing for them is just completely baseless.
Okay, so this is the thing that really made me say, I'm fucking doing this video tonight. Just because we realize that there's no greater purpose for things, that, we are here by quote unquote accident. That just makes life even more meaningful. That makes, what we do for our society and the human species in general even more meaningful. Like, it does not detract away from it. What he's talking about here is nihilism, and there are some atheists that are nihilists. But just because you're a nihilist doesn't mean that you've just lost all hope for humanity and just, everything that you do is pointless and all this other stuff. I've met nihilists, and they still have goals and ambitions, but they live for their own reasons. And to a degree, I do too, although I'm not nihilistic. But what he's conflating here is nihilism with the realization that there's no afterlife and there's no higher power, there's no higher purpose for us being here. He's using an equivocation fallacy to equate those two when they're not the same thing.
So yeah, maybe lack of honesty is one of the
so basically you're speaking about, nihilism, everything being the
nihilism,
same.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I remember, I think once we were speaking about this a few weeks ago, you believed in that. You believed everything was the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, wait, he believed a few weeks ago all of that shit, and he's just now coming to Allah, or did he come to Allah and it's like a few weeks ago he was telling you? I'm a little confused on this part of dialogue. This is really not important to their arguments or whatnot, but I'm a little confused by that particular portion.
I believe that
How did he function? How did he function?
With difficulty.
Okay, look, if it's very difficult for you to function knowing that there's nothing in it, like, that's going to happen to us after we die and all this other shit, I mean, I really think that you need to resolve that, because that kind of conflict, I mean, it can really weigh you down. But at the same time, I don't think that you need to resort to believing in God again in order for it to be fulfilling for you. But I mean, of course, this guy did, and I'm not one to judge how he, resolved that. But at the same time, he's shitting on evolution and saying that it's a religion. So that's why you're getting the breakdown tonight.
Difficulty, yeah. I mean, when you are nihilistic, so to speak, and you believe everything is pointless, you need something to latch onto to amuse you and or waste your time at the same time. I suppose you need a cause, and different people latch on to different things, and you can see they're emotionally attached to that which has no benefit for them.
Okay, so apparently he's saying that they're different than the nihilists for some reason. Like, I don't know. I mean, us figuring out something to do with our lives is kind of something that everybody faces. I mean, regardless of there being an actual God or not. I mean, I think being a nihilist and finding something to quote unquote waste your time with or whatnot, I mean, I don't think that that would detract from your emotional attachment to that particular hobby or anything like that, or how much your own life means to you. So, I don't know. I wholly disagree with this guy's assertion that you lose all emotional attachment and that you're just some emo kid that's waiting to, kill off and not be here anymore. He seems to be confused on those two concepts.
But if you dig deep with any atheist on the planet, and you keep asking them why, very quickly you're going to run into the obvious fact that their base is I don't know. So they have no why. They have no reason to build upon anything. For them, it's just a bunch of anything that happens is just a bunch of random. What did you say?
Okay, so it's okay to not know things. It's okay to admit that you don't know things. Science doesn't know everything, or science doesn't ever claim to know everything. And just because we don't know something doesn't mean that we can't know it in the future. That's regardless of whether or not the information is attainable to us now or in the future. So just because you don't know doesn't mean that you should directly turn to God. I feel like his own personal incredulity really affected his decision to go back to a religion.
Just random molecules.
Random events. Yeah, random event on top of random event on top of random event, including their pursuit of science.
Yeah.
At the
Their pursuit of science is a random event. I feel like that's pretty fucking non-random, if you ask me.
end of the day, we're all going to the same place. And
well, yeah, we're all going to the same place. Nothing's gonna fucking happen after we die.
What's the incentive?
yeah, what's the incentive for anything for these people? I mean, I was honest with myself when I was an atheist, and I started to ask myself, why do I get up out of bed in the morning? And I couldn't answer this question.
Wow, if you're in bed and you can't answer to yourself, like, why should I get up out of bed? I really don't think that you should be laying there in bed, like, all cozy and like, oh, why should I get out of bed? I know! It's Allah time! Allah, 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 Allah! Come on, let's Allah, Allah! Like, I like, it could be legit anything at that point. Like, it could legitimately be, like, you wake up, get out of bed, and you're excited to go and, like, I don't know, take out the fucking trash or something, or, you know, cook that breakfast, or, you know, go to work and work on that software or whatever. No, Lee, this is not the twerking that was asked for. But I mean, he's trying to say that there's just no meaning to life if you don't believe in a God. That's patently false. There's much more meaning to life. I mean, if you're laying there in bed and you can't think of a reason to get out of bed, then you should really try to resolve that. You should try to find something in your life to, you know, to live for. Like me, I live for, you know, KC, Xander, my job, doing this right here with you guys on the weekends. You know, that's what I live for. That's what gives meaning to my life. And true, I had to find that meaning, but you know, I think everybody has to do that, regardless of whether or not a God exists.
I could put fake answers up, but deep down something within me had to acknowledge that I couldn't answer this question. And I suppose they would say they want to make the world a better place through their pursuit of science, but if the world is pointless and random, it cannot be made better.
Okay, I would like to point out that Robert Clary in the chat said that if you can't get out of bed, then it might be depression. And I think that's a really good point to make. If you can't get out of bed and you can't find any meaning in life, it may be depression, and you may need to seek a doctor and a therapist and get that shit sorted out. There are other issues which could be hindering your want to get out of bed.
Basically deluding themselves, because that which is pointless remains pointless, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
You need a foundational reason for everything you do, or you're just wasting your time until you pop your clogs.
I would agree that you need some kind of foundation in life and whatnot, but I feel like all of us kind of have that foundation just naturally. And I mean, if you're suffering from not really knowing what your foundation is, then you know, I think that, huh? Yeah, you can self-evaluate and figure that shit out, or you can see a therapist, or you know, you can see any number of things.
No, I mean,
Absolutely. You're just going to the same place. You're just going to go to the grave, and that's going to be the end of it all. Now, what we're going to be doing, inshallah, God willing, is we're going to be doing more and more videos speaking about the atheist perspective from a former atheist, about, you know, views of life. And inshallah, one of the videos we want to speak about as well is morality. Right? I know that's gonna get you going, right? Morality. How does morality make sense from an atheistic perspective? So, Darwinism is actually a religion because it's accepted.
it's dogma, isn't it?
It's dogma, right? They don't understand it yet they still accept it.
I like how they just automatically assume that it's a dogma and they don't understand it, and so they're just ignorant of their own dogma. Like, I like how they pile that on to like scientifically minded people that don't believe their Allah bullshit. It's not that we don't understand it. See, we do, and if you don't understand it, please do ask questions. That's an important part of all of this, is to ask questions and not be afraid to ask questions. And, you know, if you don't understand it, then you can understand it. The resources are out there. But this guy right here chose not to understand it. He chose, like the guy on the left is choosing to misrepresent science and misrepresent scientifically minded people. He's using a straw man in order to make his argument here. Yeah.
By the way, I've been promoting this book. This is a new book. It's been out for just a few months. Darwinism as Religion, written by an atheist, philosopher of science, published by Oxford University, mainstream academics admitting that it is actually a religion.
Okay, so basically what he did there was he used an appeal to authority to say, hey, this book right here says that Darwinism is a religion, therefore it is a religion, and it was done by these people of such prestigious, that means that it's right. Is what he kind of implies there. And that's not necessarily true. I mean, David Barton got a whole bunch of lies about Thomas Jefferson published, you know, not in the Oxford, you know, publication, but I mean, still, he was able to get it published. Just because it's published doesn't mean that it's correct.
Jazakallah khair for joining me on the show.
Why,
Inshallah, we'll have you soon as well.
Assalamu alaikum.
Peace be upon him. I love saying that for obvious reasons. Huh? Oh no, I am saying piss. Piss be upon him, because fuck the Prophet Muhammad and Allah. All right, so we got some more comments that are coming up right now, and then we're gonna do Q&A. We've only got a few comments, so it won't be all that long. I think some of them are good. Like this one right here is gonna be good. You think it's graffiti? It's just heavy. That's why it fell. In other words, it's not gravity, it's gravity. Kreismer asked DC or Marvel. I don't know. I'm torn because I like a mix between the two. I'd probably have to go Marvel because I grew up with them more, but DC's like right there with it. My favorite is Batman, but I also like one of my other favorites is like Spider-Man. So that's why I say I'm torn. It's like a mix between the two is what I like. All right. You and your channel are awesome, informative and entertaining at the same time. Much respect, sir. Thank you, William. I really appreciate that. Let's get to some dumbass fucking comments. No, I didn't do any of Hal's tonight. Well, I did have that guy. Do you want me to show that? All right, I'll do this one and then we'll do the one that she's talking about. Knowing you typed in the channel name Godless Engineer when you registered is more cringe than Flat Earthers. Good video though. That's like I feel like he's negging me in the comments there, and it's just really weird. Let's say math from Kreismer's donation, 284 foot of F range. What? Right. Oh, Krismer. Sorry, Krismer. What up there, Godless Island? How you doing? Miss Snarky's here too. All right, so we're gonna go and get this one. I didn't pull it over from my droppy box, so I'm gonna have to go and find it over there. It won't. It shouldn't take any longer than. Here we go. From Casey's video yesterday, because she wants me to read it. Charles Mackey. Bitch, shut the fuck up. It's just so straight to the point and misogynistic as fuck. You gotta love it. Krismer, yes. Did I say that right? Krismer. Yeah, that's an imposter Hal Jordan. He's kind of a troll. He yells a lot. I don't know. I was a little torn. Apparently he's in love with Casey. Mine. Let's see. There was another one that I had from Casey's, and then we'll do some Q&A. I think there was another one I had. Nope, that was the only one. Okay. Well, we'll go. Here, we'll do this one really quick. How many super chats for a beanie? $20 more there, Godless Island. Sorry, they cost a lot to get made. Okay, then what can I say? So God loves atheists too, even though they don't believe in him. Joel Labson. Yeah, I don't exactly agree with that there, Joel. I mean, it's fine that you think that. That makes you sleep better at night, but I can guarantee you that I don't give a shit if God loves me. I don't think he exists, so I give no fucks about it. $3.99 for a beanie, but can you do this? Oh, my back. All right. All right, so now we're going to the Q&A portion. If you want to leave a question, I will try my best to get in there and answer it. Let's see. Soup of Vaporeon said, I was on the shitter, Christmas, and I was having to make Google searches to put me on more lists than I normally am on. Okay. uh Yeah, no. Lisa KC, do you remember what video GE said that doesn't sound like subservience in there, and you shouted back, "Try it." I'm not exactly sure which one. I guess it was a one where I was talking about women. That's all I can say. Um, let's see. Super Vaporeon says, for example, C4 has the specific energy of around 6.3 megajoules per kilogram. That's odd. Super Vaporeon, FBI, sir, you were Googling about explosives. My stream's going to get taken down here in a second. Risa, GE, your knowledge on Josephus blew everyone's mind. I know! It was a lot like Will Ferrell in that old school movie when he recites the exact right answer and then he's like, snaps out of it. He's like, oh, I blacked out for a second. What happened? Except I knew what I was saying. I didn't black out. Oh, Miss Snarky loves the new painting behind me. Yeah, that's actually the first one that I did at this like paint class kind of thing. That's my first painting. So yay me, I was able to draw white slugs on a canvas or whatever the fuck those are. But we did it so that we could what were we supporting? We were supporting a natural disaster of some kind. The hurricanes? Oh, it was the Houston hurricane. Yeah. Thank you, honey. Oh crap. I let's say Kreismer, Godless Engineer, how Chrismer. God damn it. Like Chrismer. How many NSA lists do you think you're on now that you literally have a question about apples and the blasphemies of said apples? I don't know. I might be on a few lists. GE, where is your scientism PhD? You need to proudly display that shit. Here it is. I'm pretty proud of it. It's my PhD in scientism. If you want your own PhD in scientism, then please donate $5 through Super Chat. We'll get with you later about how to get it to you. But it's Doctorate of Theology and Scientism, Godless Engineer. It's signed by Bite Me, Abraham Lincoln, and whatever the fuck kind of doctor's handwriting this is. See, Jasper James gone. GE Bob Ross is on Twitch 24/7. Damn. Yeah. Somebody asked me Marvel or DC again. It's a mix between the two. I'd probably lean more towards who did I say earlier? DC? Marvel? See, it's hard for me to really determine because it's like I love characters from both. The title of the painting is called The Money Shot. We're going to put a happy little cum stain right there. It's our secret cum stain. And don't you say a goddamn thing about it. Atheist in Iowa, he gave us $5. I may not get a beanie, but I want that PhD. Jen with one N, do I like pineapple pizza? No! I don't like pineapple pizza. I like pizza with like everything on it, but that. Approved by Dr. Jing Kim. Carl Sagan versus Nikola Tesla. Fist fight. Who wins? Ugh, I don't know. I'd probably have to go with Carl Sagan on that one. GE, just say amalgam comics. Let's see. Super Vaporeon says, I have a PhD in getting sniped by the Firmament Distraction Corpse. It says corpse. Yeah. GE's more into popular mechanics. Tesla, he was crazy. I don't know. So Gracie said she wants one of them beanies. I was like, you're gonna wear that to school? Well, I really wish that I could just like give the beanies away, but they do cost a pretty penny to get them made. So sorry about that, guys. Well, anyways, heathens, I think I'm gonna go. We'll say Azrael Mysterious says thanks for all your hard work, G. Also, Casey is fucking hilarious. Love her. Yes, she is really awesome. Graceful slumber. I'd wear it to school. Hey there, Gracie. How you doing? But yeah, we're going to go. I hope you guys have a lovely, lovely night. I appreciate all of the super chats. I hope I did you proud with those. Be sure to check back. We have a kind of a special video that we'll be posting tomorrow, although it's a little bit of a somber subject. But I hope that you guys enjoy it. We will see you heathens later. Don't forget to stand up and use your voice. And y'all have a nice night. Bye, heathens.